seen in France since World War II. Why did you support Marine Le Pen?
For l'immigration.
For immigration? Because she's glorious. She's glorious.
Yes.
Le Pen, who has openly supported President Putin and was quick to congratulate President Trump in 2016, riding a familiar anti-establishment wave. Against the current president, Emmanuel Macron, polls suggest he'll hold.
The other
candidate is not Macron. You don't want to say her name.
because it's not my political party.
To win over wavering voters like them, Le Pen has focused on the sword and posts pictures on social media with her cats. The candidates clashing for the first time on television this week. We're watching the debate with a group of students. None of them love Macron, and they definitely don't like Le Pen. Yet their vote on Sunday could determine the future of Europe. Macron accused her of financial ties to Putin. She called him elitist, but many undecided young voters uninspired.
And none of them actually talked about how it is difficult to be a young people in this country.
Macron fighting for every vote. I think he's solid, this woman says, and loves his country. This weekend, French voters will decide. The world will be watching.
If you vote Le Pen, you vote Putin. A huge blow to the Western world. A huge blow to...
Well, in case you were reading Stacey Abrams' novels and missed it, Barack Obama gave a big speech at Stanford yesterday on, quote, disinformation. Now, like the Atlantic Magazine's conference on disinformation through Chicago, the conference was all about promoting disinformation, but because awareness has been banned, nobody noticed. Obama argued that only his political opponents lie. They must be stopped immediately.
People like Putin. And Steve Bannon, for that matter. Understand, it's not necessary for people to believe this information in order to weaken democratic institutions. You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe.
Oh, so people who disagree with Barack Obama aren't just saying things that are wrong, they're flooding raw sewage into our country. So this guy's not just liberal. In fact, he's not liberal at all. He's a full-blown fascist who hates you and wants to keep you from talking or else. How does people vote for him? Hope and change. Okay. He wants censorship of anyone who disagrees with him, and now he just comes out and says it. Watch.
While content moderation can limit the distribution of clearly dangerous content, it doesn't go far enough. Users who want to spread disinformation have become experts at pushing right up to the line of what at least published company policies allow. And at those margins, social media platforms tend not to want to do anything. Not just because they don't want to be accused of censorship, because they still have a financial incentive to keep as many users engaged as possible.
So me and my friends at the Aspen Institute need to be in complete control of every word uttered, or else it's not democracy. That's the case he's making. That's the case they're all making.
Okay, the great Tucker Carlson, of course, the folks in France telling you it's very tough for young people in this country. Yes, the French are Russian serfs, just like the youth of America, anybody under 35. Saturday, 23 April, year of our Lord 2022. Remember, I told you the shift in the narrative. You got this, Rachel Maddow from eliminationist rhetoric. You've got Obama then making a stark turn at Stanford off of this the Atlantic article that we talked about. And we're going to spend a lot more time on that this coming week because we're going to get a sweeping mandate in November. The progressive left, the woke corporations, the Democratic Party, the globalists, they're all every day they're democracy this, democracy that. We're believers in democracy because we actually have the votes, not phony votes, not made up votes. We actually have real votes. And now everybody's motivated, everybody's at the ramparts, everybody's fighting every day. And the progressive left, MSNBC, Barack Obama, all of them are going to get a democracy suppository on the evening of November 8th, okay? And then we will go from there. I want to bring in one of the most important states in all this, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Colonel Doug Mastriano, who's running for governor. He joins us today near Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. There'll be an event at the Eisenhower Center. I was honored to be asked to come and speak at the annual Eisenhower speech last fall. It's an amazing center. It's right off the battlefield at Gettysburg. President Trump gave his great Drain the Swamp speech in the run-up to the 2016 victory. Colonel Mastriano, this is getting very heated. Jay Corman came out the other day and gave a press conference of the things he would do on voter integrity and the 2020 election, the first day he's governor. What's your response on that? Where do you stand on all of this?
Yeah, so, and thank you, Steve, for having me on. Just so everyone knows, you've invited me several times since the clash with Jay Corman, and I figured it'd be bad form to come on and say or do anything that could derail, a forensic investigation of our elections. But it's been 8 months on now, and nothing's happened. So, my position on, of course, that press conference, Jake is a single-digit midget. He polls around 3% or so. The latest poll has him at 3.3%, I believe. So I really want to punch down. But what I will say is there are 16 pieces of legislation in the Senate. He's the president of the Senate. And so everything he lists on his plan as governor, actually, myself and my colleagues have pages and pages of legislation to reform our elections, and he's not running it. So it's just more empty rhetoric and talk.
So look, you were the guy that helped with Rudy Giuliani and all of us initiate the first, the railhead, the first conference at historic Gettysburg that started everything, all the revelations, Peter Navarro's report, all of it, that's leading us to be right at the cusp in Wisconsin, the cusp in Arizona to decertify these Biden electors. Then what would be your position? What's your position now, and what would be your position if you win this primary and if you beat Shapiro to become governor of the Commonwealth?
Well, as far as cleaning up the election, I mean, I'm in a good position as governor. No one knows voting integrity better than me as far as the candidates running for office, and no one has done more to it. And, and sadly, Jake has stood in the way. Had he wanted to reform the elections, he had the power to do so as president of the Senate. I mean, of the 16 bills that I listed here, 5 of them are mine, and it takes on Act 77, which was compromised by the Democrats and our state Supreme Court, which is Democrat. We have voter ID on here. That's co-prime sponsor with Judy Ward, co-prime with Stefano on taking on voting reform in Pennsylvania. There's a whole list here, but okay, put that aside. As governor, I get to appoint the Secretary of State, and I have a voting reform-minded individual who's been traveling the nation and knows voting reform extremely well. That individual has agreed to be my Secretary of State. I'm going to have, of course, a team around that individual that's really good on voting reform. As governor, I get to decertify any or all machines in the state. And obviously, I have my eyes on several of the counties that have machines that I believe are compromised. And it's going to be a top issue for me because, Steve, you served your country. I did as well. And this is no game for us. For politicians to hop on the air and make these empty promises when they actually have the power to do something now and didn't, I can't believe them.
Colonel, the Commonwealth Appeals Court ruled that 2.6 million mail-in ballots were unconstitutional. And I understand the Democratic-controlled Supreme Court reversed that. But since that's such a kind of a landmark decision, what can be done just with that? Because I think that's what gets people's heads blown up the most, that these 2.6 million ballots were clearly unconstitutional. Anything to be done between now and the time you're governor on that? And if you do win the governorship, what could you do with that?
Yeah. Well, as far as that ruling from the Commonwealth Court, obviously we are very happy with that ruling. Sadly, it has not been ruled on yet by the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court, which is 5 of the 7 are leftists or Democrats. It's actually their decision on 17 December 2020, which compromised our elections at the Commonwealth Court, struck down. And I don't see any chance in hell where the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court is going to rule against themselves. So that's a month that they're going to hear it, I believe, probably in June or July after the primary is over, and they're going to uphold their own decision and strike down the Commonwealth decision. As far as the way ahead, I just want to clarify for people out there, Pennsylvanians, if you say say, hey, I'm not sure my vote counts, and therefore I'm not going to vote, you're part of the problem. That's exactly what the Democrats want you to say. I know as well as anyone else, or more than most people do, how bad things are in Pennsylvania as far as voting reform. But we do have hope. And the hope is what we saw in Virginia last November. You know, in Virginia, it looked like the First and Second Amendments were going to be struck down. The legislative body in Virginia was going to ban speech against them, the elected officials, and they went after the Second Amendment hard and heavy 2 years ago. But the people of Virginia came out in overwhelming numbers and overcame the cheating, you know, in the, you know, Fairfax County and other counties that lean heavily left. And more importantly, on top of showing up, the Republicans went to work. They had about 95% of the polls manned, as Republican poll watchers were on duty, making sure there was no shenanigans, or at least reducing the chance of fraud. And so in Pennsylvania, that's how we do it. So let's get through this primary in 17 May. And after that, it's time to get to hard work here to beat back Josh Shapiro in November.
Woke schools, I know, are an issue. Also, Pennsylvania is the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. Natural gas, we're going to report later about how they're still paying. Now they're paying in rubles. They're you know, Russia, we're underwriting. The Western Europeans are underwriting what's happening in Ukraine by buying the gas. I blew up guys the other night on Italian TV live about the hypocrisy of this. You've also got the immigration issue. Pennsylvania is now a border state. They're flying right in. As governor, walk through a couple of those issues. What is Doug Mastriano going to do that Shapiro's not?
This is pretty easy. So I'll focus on energy, Steve. And there's a lot I'm going to do on day one. I'm looking at DeSantis, who's really the model of Republican leadership. And my goal, obviously, as a governor of Pennsylvania here, is to make Ron DeSantis look like amateur hour. And I love that guy. But there's a lot we can do in Pennsylvania. Go through that later on. But as far as energy, Tom Wolf has signed us up without a vote from the General Assembly to the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. We call it RGGI. And what that is it's a state version. We'd be the 12th state, mostly New England and Mid-Atlantic states. It's a cap and trade like the Paris Climate Accord. So we have to actually pay for CO2 emissions. And as the only energy producing state in this compact, it's going to cost us an estimated this first year when it goes into effect about $461 million and $2 billion over the length of 2 years. So on day one, executive order, we're out of RGGI, day one. And that's going to happen. And that's going to drive down energy costs because it's believed that being a member of RGGI is going to cost Pennsylvanians, an energy producing state, where it's going to cost us 30% more in energy costs statewide to keep the lights on. You know, Tom Wolf, in his 8 years of reign here, every year he tries to find a scheme or a racket to put a fee, or a tax, but a fee on our energy producing companies. And in the midst of this need for energy, we have companies closing this year. I was in the Southwest last night. There's near Somerset. There's a plant closing this year, and there's another plant closing next year because of the regulations. And those operations are moving to West Virginia, Ohio, and Texas. We are the third greatest energy producer in the nation. We're number 2 in natural gas, 3rd in coal, but overall 3. Under Mastriano on day one, I'm striking down about the 8 years of Tom Wolf's regulations. And we're going to unleash the potential for Pennsylvania energy. So this is going to be the place. It's going to be a booming place under Mastriano, because we're going to take off the chains and the burdens that Tom Wolf and the Democrats and little Josh Shapiro would do as well, and just unleash the potential. This is going to be open for business on day one.
Colonel Mastriano, how do people find out more about you and more about your campaign, in particular this event at the Eisenhower Center this afternoon at 4 o'clock?
Thank you for having me on, Steve. And so it's dougforgov.com. So Doug4gov.com.
Colonel Mastriani, fight on. And thank you so much for being one of the sponsors that got all of this rolling back in November 2020. It took real courage and foresight. So thank you very much for doing that, sir.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for your leadership and, risking so much for our country. I do respect and honor you. So thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Colonel. Okay, we're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to be back in a moment.
Okay, well, that was my first time back on Bannon since August. And as I hear, this is the flag that I carried with. I bought it in West Germany at the end of the Cold War. Brought it with me to Saudi Arabia. Flew it in Kuwait and Iraq, and also in 1991. And then, of course, brought it with me to Afghanistan after the attacks on 9/11. So it's not too beat up, but obviously it has a special place for me. But let me put that in a secure location. But Steve has invited me on, as I mentioned before, several times, and after what happened between myself and that one individual, one dishonest politician, I'm not a politician. And, the people just wanted an audit, a forensic investigation of what happened. And he said he was going to do it after he stripped me of the powers. And we would have been done months ago, by the way. Now it's 8 months on since this clash with him. And I didn't want to be that, whiny guy out there, complaining and stuff. So I think 8 months is plenty of time. Probably should have gone on sooner, but it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And so we'll clean it up as governor. I do have a beautiful plan laid out. Really didn't have a chance to describe it, but that was a good interview. Thank you, Christine. Great to see you. Bonnie, lots of good friends on both the YouTube channel and on the Facebook. So, JL Thompson. I have been to all those counties you're listing, and when I'm there, you got to make an effort to see us, brother. I spent a lot of time in the Southeast, man, or sister, can't tell. So when we're within an hour's drive, if Rebby and myself, please make the effort to come out. If you have a specific venue you'd like to host us in, and a venue that can hold about 200 or more people, because our events are pretty packed, then please go to Doug for Gov and get me into your area. But our calendar is pretty packed right now between now and 17 May. We've got to be honest with you. We'll be hard pressed to add anything. It'd be very difficult to add anything. Trying to honor my requests and commitments. I have, of course, my senator calendar of events. There's an event. There's a very big event happening that's not mine. And obviously I've been invited, but I committed to to a bunch of young people in my district to be at an event. And I'm really hard pressed to walk away from that when they scheduled me 4 months ago. And then, of course, we have the campaign events, which are just insane. I mean, last night, Sue Dar put together a fabulous event out in Western PA, Somerset, which is, a bit east of Pittsburgh, just outside of Somerset City. Weather was beautiful. There had to be 350. I don't know. I'm sure somebody has the account. It was standing room. It was like 50 people standing against the wall I guess it was a dessert table there. I don't know. But it's crazy. And, we had Brian Glenn from Right Side Broadcasting, covers some of our events. He said this is unprecedented. He's never seen anything like this. Rebby and I go to events. We try to do the greeting in advance. So please, if you're there, get your photographs there. It's after the event's over, we got to go. And people run over. Hey, I forgot to get a picture. Please get it when you see us. But anyway, we usually have a line of people that want to say hi. I mean, it's so special. It's really meaningful for us. And so thank you for your support. So this afternoon, there's a big event going on in Gettysburg. It's called Patriots Arise. There's a huge lineup of great speakers. I'll be going up around 4:30. Okay. Let me pop open this and give you a lay down of who's speaking. I mean, it kicks off in 10 minutes with Abby Abildness. And then Free PA Tabitha, then at 11. Audit a Vote, Tony Shoup and Vito at 11:30. I'm going to hit the names that we all recognize. Shane Vaughn, he's pretty well known in Christian circles, 2:30. Dan Cox at 3:30, the next governor of Maryland. I look forward to working with him. It's going to be fantastic to have Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania as under Governor Mastriano. That will be like an A team for the Mid-Atlantic states. I guess Virginia's not really Mid-Atlantic, it's formerly South, but close enough. Julie Green, she's fantastic. Around 4:00, she flew in from Iowa, and Rebby and I will be showing her some of Gettysburg, the battlefield. I'm up at 4:30. Liz Harrington's at 5. Jenna Ellis at 5:45. So if you're let's try to read here. Yeah, I'll address some of the concerns you have out there. So if you're within an hour drive of Gettysburg, please come on out. It begins shortly, but you can come later. And it's Dan Cox 3:30, Teddy Daniels 3:45, Julie Green around 4, me at 4:30, Liz at 5, Jen Ellis 5:45. So it's not too late to come out and hear it. It's going to be fantastic. I was at that event, Patriots Arise 2 years ago, and it was really encouraging and magnificent. Hey, Tammy, Rebby and I appreciate you. It was so great to see you the other day in southern Lancaster County. So 2 days ago, we were in Lancaster County. Yesterday, we were in Somerset County. Today, we're in Gettysburg. Tomorrow, I'm in Washington Crossing, about 3 hours east of us. I love that place. That event is, you can still register for. Let me see what's going on tomorrow, all the details. It's happening at the Washington Crossing Inn. And I'll be talking about some of my background and then the fight to reopen the state and then what I see for the future of Pennsylvania. Speaking as well. So anyway, look forward to seeing you there. Let me scroll here. Hello, Kelly in Westmoreland, Teresa and Justin. Steve says, Doug, you need to get some, need to set some attack ads. They are now attacking you on TV, along with Stan. Stan who? Oh, I'm not doing any attack ads. The lineup of attack ads coming out is a $400,000 buy. It's a ridiculous dark piece by the one candidate that Donald Trump will not support in the governor's race, the coward, as Donald Trump called him. And I do have ads coming up, and they are positive and forward-looking and hopeful. You guys will love them when you see them. They're really, really what we need in Pennsylvania. Why am I going to punch down? The swamp got behind that individual doing the attack ads. He's a really troubled individual, and I'm not going to go down ad hominem attacks at this point here. But a really unhappy individual who had the chance to be an American hero and ran from it, chickened out, has lame excuses why he didn't do it. Oh, I was told not to. I'm a Marine. I obey orders. Oh, stop. I was told not to do voting integrity either. I was opposed the entire way, and the proof is in the pudding, and I paid a price for that. But there's a difference between lawful orders and unlawful orders. Anyway, that's crap. That's how weak that. And I was surprised Donald Trump put that out. But anyway, consider the source. I believe, as with Esther, the tables will turn. That dark money group backing the swamp selected individual, he's done. I mean, when Trump hit him last week, there's no way he can survive that blow. So I'll go ahead and let him do the attack ad, just like the Democrats, And that, by the way, that individual was a Democrat a good part of his life, and apparently supported Clinton and Gore as well. I think he changed under Bush Jr. for some reason. Need to have explanations on this. There's a couple of gubernatorial candidates actually that have backed Democrat candidates. One of them backed Kamala Harris in 2019 against Donald Trump, and is pretending to be this great stalwart of conservatism. Fraud. Really sick and tired of the lack of honor and integrity that exists out there. So ads are coming, but I'm going to talk about our vision for Pennsylvania. Hello, Kathy. Good to see you and your dad last night. We have a bus tour coming up. I mean, we have lots of good stuff. I'm trying to read the comments here. I can't keep up. Wow. All right, I'm going to review the schedule. Allie, yeah, I agree. I'm not going to do the attack ads. Their attack ads are all bull crap anyway, and it's not going to stick. The issues are so convoluted, and they're trying to make very rarely do attack ads work. If they do, it has to be specific and relatable to individuals, to people, and this ambiguous stuff, kind of murky. Doug Mastriano opposes freedom or whatever. It's just like, oh, shut up. Coming from the guy who ran from a fight when he had a chance. What a weak individual. So pray to God flips it. And he will. He will. So today, Patriots Arise. Eb and I will be there somewhere around 4. And we'll be there for several hours. Tomorrow, Washington Crossing Inn. Not cool. I have an event. I have a series of events on Monday, and somebody scheduled a Zoom interview in the middle of that. Really? It's not going to work. Okay. Tuesday will be out in Union County. Oh, yeah. Silver Moon Banquet Hall. We have some good people hosting that. It's a paid event. So it's a fundraiser. It doesn't cost a lot. I'll give you the details in a second. Doors open at 4:30. Reb and I will be there sometime after 5. I speak at 5:45. Oh, that timeline's a bit compressed. Menu: flatbread, pizza, meatballs, chicken bites, cakes, and beverages. Sounds great. Okay, where are the details on this? I guess you got to go to my page to find out, since I'm missing the 5 W's on that. I guess I'll look it up and scroll. Okay, on my Facebook page, you can click links to register. If you're not on Facebook, go to doug4gov.com, and all the details are there. We have so many events going on. I just have trouble keeping up with myself. I don't know how much it costs. Probably $20. I don't know. It's got to cost something to pay for the food. So I don't think it's a fundraiser. So it's a meet and greet. Okay, $30 per person. So I guess that will cover both the venue, the food, and then whatever's left over will be for the campaign. I don't have all the details. Sometimes people do in-kind donations, of the food and what have you, which we also report to Harrisburg. Dennis, I'll be in Erie for a rally in May. I mean, we're all over the state. We're all over the place, and we're within an hour or two of your home. Please come. Please come and see us. Okay, back to the calendar. So Tuesday up in Union County. That's going to be great. We begin our fasting and prayer time leading up to the election on April 27th. And people are deciding which things to pray about. And that night we'll have that ABC 27 debate, which will be interesting. Do keep me in prayer for that. And God will speak through me in power and might. I'm with homeschoolers next Thursday. Have some meetings around the state, both Senate details, duties, and campaign duties. Next Saturday, Shield of Truth, Morning Star Fellowship Church over in Pennsburg area. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I don't think this is helpful as I scroll through here. Southern York County on Tuesday, May 3rd. Anyway, we're doing a bus trip in May, and we're covering a fair chunk of the state. So Each day has roughly 2 or 3 or 4 stops. Evan, if we show up in overwhelming numbers, we'll overcome the fraud. Freedom Press, no. I oppose biometric facial recognition to vote. I only bring that up to show you how far we went in Afghanistan. We, the International Security Assistance Force, ISAF, how far we went to secure elections in Afghanistan. A basic ID will suffice. We have to be careful about so much intrusion of people's individual privacy. Max, I was in Valley Forge not that long ago. Chili Willy, we might try to stop in your area. Anyway, we're going through your town. Well, through the town, not to the forest. The sheriff, I guess, wants us to stop, and I don't see a problem with that. I am personally working the schedule on that, and so I'll have to get back to them. And then after I had the schedule worked out, then of course I'll hand it over to my team to deal with. All right, it's 10:30. I'm going to go, and I have a lot to do today before we head over to Gettysburg. Feel like my car is like I'm living like a gypsy again. All this junk in the back, campaign materials, extra jackets and sweaters, and we have to travel with a food bag since at most events we don't get a chance to eat. Sometimes we do, but at most no. It's impossible. Unmöglich, as the Germans say. Thank you, Bill, for signing up another poll watcher. So here's what we're asking for you to do, and we really need this. Please, we need more volunteers to be door knockers. We have 100,000 doors we want to hit in the next couple weeks, and it's easy. We will train you. We have in-person training available in areas of the state, and if not, that's available in your area. My people do online training. We have an app, or you could print out houses to go to, houses of Republicans, and you simply go to the houses, knock on the door. If they answer it, you just say, well, hey, are you considering voting for Doug Mastriano for governor? And if they're like, oh, I don't know who I'm voting for, then here's a card with his information. You have any questions, lay them on me, or go to Doug's website on this card that you're going to give them. And are you a registered Republican? No, I'm not, but I want to vote for him. Okay, great. Here's a registration form, or here's the website to change your registration, because you only vote for Doug on May 17th. If you're Republican, and you have to change your affiliation before the 2nd of May. So please sign up. Go to dougforgov.com, click on the volunteer, and we need, I'd like to see another 100 volunteers on door knocking. So please consider helping us out. Please find friends and family members to sign up with you as well. You don't have to go out alone, and it'd be better if you go out in a team of 2, actually, but you do what you see fit. And so please go to dougforgov.com and go ahead and be a door knocker. So I get it. There's some communities, gated communities or what have you, that don't allow it, but most of the state, 99% of the state allows it. So there's places you can go to do door knocking, and we do have addresses on an app. If you don't want to use an app, you can print it out, where to go. And so it can actually map out the route for you. So thank you again for your support, and anything you can do with helping us with door knockers, I'd appreciate it. And once again, go to dougforgov.com under volunteer, fill out the volunteer form, and click on or write in door knocking, and my team will get a hold of you, and we'll help us take the state back. Thank you, guys. Praying a blessing over you all, and wishing you all a great day, and enjoy the weekend.